there any tier list of yours for 4 stars to chase cons on? We could do that. Oh, okay, chat. Right. I said, it's tier maker time. So true. So true. Okay, so first we need to separate them. I guess we don't include the standard 4 stars that aren't on the limited banners. Alright, who did I miss, chat? I missed Kirara. I miss anyone else? Candace? Anyone else? Sijuin, so true. I'm not including the starters. Very relevant. Is that how you write relevant? No, it's not. Very meta. So, this is cons on characters where their constellations actually do something, and the characters are used as best in slot options in good meta teams. Very relevant, not that meta. This is for characters where their cons are good, but they're not that meta, like, impactful. You might not end up using them. They might have some alternatives that are better than them. Stuff like that. Not very relevant. Very meta. So this is for characters where their cons don't really matter that much. But they, like, they're not, it's not a big deal if you don't have them, but you will be using them, and so the cons will do something for you. The Sucrose here? No, Sucrose won't get there because her cons don't matter at all. Right? This is more something like, I don't know, who would be a good example of this? Kirara, I guess? No, not really. Kuki? Maybe? I don't know. Bennett, yeah. Bennett would be there, I guess. That's fair. Then, not very relevant. Not that meta. So, like, jugglers would be here. Facial would be here. Bennett would be here. And what would be the poster child for this? I think Lanyan, yeah. Lanyan is a great one here. Very relevant. Not meta at all. Dog shit. So very relevant, not meta at all would be like Farazan. And then dog shit would be like Barbara. Maybe, honestly, we have this as dog shit, and we have, like, not very relevant, not meta at all. So we can have something for, like, Goro. Because Goro's clones aren't that good. Anyways. So, Noelle, very relevant, not meta at all. Sucrose. Maybe I need another one for Sucrose, huh? Actually, do we just put it in dog shit? Because it doesn't, like, it doesn't do anything? Because if the constellations don't do anything, then it doesn't matter how meta the character is, right? Like, the reason why it matters how meta a character is that good constellations on bad characters aren't actually good constellations because you won't be using them. But bad constellations, whether they're on good characters or on bad characters, whether you're using them or not, they don't do anything, so who cares? So I think Sucrose isn't here. That's crazy. Honestly, it's more like here. Being the same tier as Ning isn't right. It's not about how good the character is. This is how good the constellations are. There is practically no difference between C0 and C6 Sucrose. Just like there is practically no difference between C0 and C6 Ning, because she's not going to see play on your account. It's for a different reason, but the conclusion stays the same. C1 more charges. It doesn't actually matter. Anyways. Honestly, at this point, channeling goes here. Okay. Singtail's kind of hard, because his cons matter, and he's meta, but he's like, his cons are somewhere between not very and very. They're like pretty relevant, and his like meta place right now is somewhere between these two as well. So like, you could honestly argue about him in any of these three, and it would be reasonable. If it wasn't for Llama, I think he'd be 100% here. But Llama kind of brought him back. Hyperloom is kind of goated, man. We can leave him here though. Chongyun, Diona. Actually, Diona goes here. Kuki, probably here. Well, is that even true? Not really, honestly. It's probably here, actually. Like, with good gameplay, in the teams where you actually want to play Hyperloom with Kuki, when you have burst, you can use the burst during skill downtime to make it so you don't lose any Hyperblooms. You won't build ER, but so you'll only get it every other rotation. But that's still 27 out of 30 seconds uptime. So what you get from C2 is a lot more like quality of life stuff than it is actual relevant DPS. Yeah, I think I feel comfortable putting her cons here. Cole, probably here. They're kind of useful, and she's kind of meta, but like not really. Like kind of, but like yeah. Gumming probably goes here. All right, pretty much all of these characters, like if you're gonna be using them on your teams, their cons matter a lot, but you might not want to use them on your team based on like what you have on your account. Dory, I guess goes here, yeah. Lila, probably here. Like, is it actually here? The stronger shield is nice, but honestly, do you actually need it? And it's the only con that really matters for her, because her damage is too ass no matter what her con is. Nah, I think she stays in the dog shit tier, honestly. Hazo! Yeah, stays in the dog shit tier. Fine. I can rename the not that to somewhat. There you go. Okay, Shinyan cons, dog shit. Yun Fei cons. Honestly, I don't think the shield face stuff really matters. But I think it'll be in somewhat relevant, not meta at all. Rosaria. I think it goes here. Somewhat relevant, somewhat meta. The C6 doesn't matter, but the C2 does. C0 Rosaria missing a Mawika meld because your burst doesn't last long enough is fucking hilarious. Sayu cons don't matter at all. Sarah cons matter a lot, but she's not meta at all. Charlotte cons, somewhat relevant. She's not meta at all. Toma cons, somewhat relevant, somewhat meta, I think. Yeah. Candace cons, I think also somewhat relevant, somewhat meta. Because it depends on the teams. In some of the teams where you play her, they're really important. In some teams, they don't matter at all. Auron cons. Probably here too, honestly. Maybe you could argue that Auron is very meta. Because your off-field electro options kind of suck right now for Shogun's teams, so you end up playing him in a few of them. Yunjin, dog shit. Kachina, dog shit. Yao Yao, dog shit. Kirara, honestly, I think Kirara goes here, and I think I'm gonna bring Toma down here and Candace down here as well. And Cole's on thin ice, honestly. Anyways, Mika, very relevant, no meta at all, sure. Kave, dog shit. His C1 used to matter, but it doesn't matter anymore. What is a relevant part? It's really just how good the Constellation itself is, like how much it does for the team. Lynette, nah. Lynette's cons don't fucking do shit. Fremene's cons are pretty. The thing is, something like this is like Lynette cons don't actually help her team DPS at all because like unless you're playing carry Lynette, which is worse than just using Lynette as a VV support. And with Fremene, you can't play like support Fremene. He doesn't have something he can do that's helpful as a support. So for people who play Fremene versus people who play Lynette, I feel like Fremene's constellations tend to matter more. But I guess the plunge Lynette stuff might be enough to make that go here, right? Sethos, I think goes here, yeah. Aoife, I think goes here, yeah. Eon-san, yup. Dahlia, I think Dahlia goes here. Somewhat relevant, somewhat meta. I know. Okay, so here's the thing about I know. As of Luna 1, I know is here. But as soon as Columbina comes out, I know goes here, if not here. And like, she's already hanging on for dear life here. So I think I'll put her here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And like, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, this tier should probably be the second one. And this tier should probably be below as well. Because, like, not everyone wants cons on these characters, but people who want them really fucking want them. Right? But for these characters, you're just like, whatever. Forgot Sucrose? No, Sucrose is where... Sucrose's cons are not good. Is there a case for putting Fischl higher? They keep releasing alternatives to Fischl, and they keep releasing characters that want to focus more on their own personal damage, which kind of encourages buffers over damage dealers for supports. Why is Auron so low? The thing with Auron is he only really has one relevant con, and it's a C6, right? And like, it just doesn't do nearly as much for the team as what cons on these characters do. But I do agree that Auron kind of feels out of place with these. But I also don't want to make it a tier for him by himself, you know? Doesn't Auron's main value come from his Ascension passive? So the thing is, Auron doesn't deal good damage. Even at C6. Right? Like, the way the game is progressing, numbers like Auron's just aren't fucking good enough anymore. And so what actually matters about Auron is the fact that he has Cinder City and that this is a 30% attack buff to your active character. That's kind of it. Are Bennecon's really worse than Eon-san? Yeah. Way worse. Eon-san's C2 is, like, a bit better than Bennett's C1. And Eon-san's C6 is, like... It's not about the 25 damage percent, it's about the 3 seconds of uptime. There's so many teams where that extra 3 seconds is, like, actually important. So Auron C6 is basically Eon-san, but 810 less attack and 25 less damage bonus. Yeah, pretty much, actually. But he also procs Traverse's passive for Maoika. That's another upside. And like for Chlorine teams specifically, he's not that much worse than Eon-san because Maoika is so much better than Chlorine that having better uptime on your Traverse passive actually like matters a lot. You get to spend less time on Chlorine and more time on Maoika. So the gap between Eon-san and Auron isn't that big in those teams.